Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of TalkFlow. Now, I believe this is episode 11. We finally hit double digits.
That's a lot.
Actually, we hit it last time, but yeah, we're in the double digits now. And yeah, in this episode, we're going to be talking about, as you can tell from the title, we're going to be reviewing our year, as well as we're going to talk a little bit about our plans for 2022, I believe. And this is mostly going to be targeted towards our agencies or businesses, you can say, our Webflow careers. We're going to have another episode where we talk about our personal, like, year in reviews, where we talk about our personal life and, like, motivation and all of that other
Yeah,
stuff that's, not related to business, but that
yeah,
does help us. So we're going to be doing that in our separate series called Alt Talk,
yeah.
and that series is going to be coming out soon. But yeah, so in this episode, we're just going to be focusing on Webflow. So I believe Vermaelen, you had a disclaimer that you wanted to talk about, right?
Oh yeah. I think we should mention that most of it is pretty much our experiences and it's not to show
Mm-hmm,
off. I think
mm-hmm,
it's key to like put that out just so that people don't feel like it's like, oh, I didn't do as much as them or whatever. It's very easy to compare with people. So I think we should, yeah, that's I think the main disclaimer. We won't be talking about money as per se, but then like if we do mention like an amount, it's relative to what we have done so far
mm-hmm.
and not to show off or anything like that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we obviously do not want to come
Because
across
I
that
mean,
way.
in business,
Um,
like we have to talk about
yeah.
money anyways. It's a
Mm-hmm,
taboo topic, but nothing to be ashamed of. If you're making money or if you're not, it's still fine. Like you will make if
mm-hmm.
you do good work. So
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and just coming back to the point of comparing, like, this is not for us. For our goal of this is for you guys to look at us and just have that relatability. Like, I might talk about something that I'm doing in the beginning of this year, and you might be doing that, and I can tell you guys what lessons I learned from that because I've been through it. So that's the main
yeah,
goal, where
and
we
also
just tell our
it's like
story and people can relate.
it's
Yeah,
like an archive as well. So imagine just looking back at it
exactly.
like 5 years
Yeah.
from now. It's like, oh shit,
Yeah, we're
if
connecting
I'm
with the audience and stuff like that. So it's
yeah
it's, it's,
yeah
it's good for the business aspects, like, sorry, the business
growth
aspect for the
yeah
audience, right? Like, it
yeah
can help them grow, but it's also
yeah.
that relatability thing as well there.
Like you watch us
Um,
grow as well. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So why don't should I get started with Marlon?
Yeah,
Should I?
like I think let's go with like if you were to sum up this year, what would you
Okay,
sum it
cool.
up?
So 2021 has been quite interesting. Like, to be honest, many of you guys might know, or I don't think a lot of people know, but I've been doing this. I've started Pressing Digital for around 2 years. But saying that, it hasn't really been a thing for me. Like, honestly, I'm very, very young. So I'm 19. So I was still in school when I was starting this, and it wasn't like a real thing, to be honest. It was just something that I wanted to do to make money and learn a skill, right? Um, so for the first year of my business, not 2021, which I think it was at the end of 2019, end of 2019 and 2020. So that kind of
Yeah,
season is the actual first year of my business. And during that time, to be honest, it was a lot of messing around, a lot of, like, where you
beginner.
learn the biggest lessons, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's just a very beginner stuff. I didn't have no help. I didn't even meet Vermaelen during that time. I didn't have
Oh
no
yeah.
connection with the community.
Yeah.
Like, it was just very me just going out there blind and just going in the dark and just seeing doing the best job I can. Just being very clueless, right? And I would say that year was not a waste. It did teach me a lot of things, but in terms of progress, it was probably
That's
not even
yeah.
0.1% of the progress that I made.
Yeah.
But saying that, right, it did teach me a lot of lessons of what I should do the next year, which is 2021. So I would say, like, the end of 2020 and uh, um, 2021 was the year that I would say 2021 was the year that I started to do the right stuff and see progress.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so if I could sum up 2021, just to be quick, it would be at the beginning of 2021. So, like, between January and March, around March and April time. So, like, the Q1 of 2021, I was, you can say, occupied with other stuff, right? I had some sorry, not uni, but school stuff to do, like
Yeah.
some exams. So that took a lot of my time, and I was still trying. I was still learning. I was still in the phase of being quite clueless. I wasn't into LinkedIn that much. I was marketing on Instagram, doing, the carousel things, and I was doing a lot of things wrong, right? Um, and that was the point. I would say the beginning of 2021 is where I learned. I realized the things that I was doing wrong. So I remember I used to do email outreaching and cold emails and all of that stuff. I used to buy, like, I'm not sure if you guys heard of Lemlist. It was like an emailing, like, mass email sender. I bought that. I went on Upwork and Fiverr and got like a lead list for $5. People using
Yeah.
LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So I used to do a lot of those stuff. And the beginning of 2021 was me learning the stuff that I'm doing wrong is not working. And it was also the period where I pivoted myself into the right direction, which was LinkedIn and releasing clonables and not focusing on making money, but becoming a better Webflow developer. That is one thing that I realized. So that was the beginning of 2021. And then I would say after that period, like around April, May, that is when I started to just move towards the right direction, I believe. So to be honest, it hasn't really been a full 12 months where I've been, on track that I can say to you guys. It was at the beginning of 2021 was, again, it was like I was still learning. The true year, I would say, for me started around May time, April, May. And that is when I started to, go on LinkedIn, market, release clonables, do everything I'm doing now. So technically you can say that the results I have now is not the accumulation of the whole of 2021. It was only from May, right? Which is, I don't know, what's that, 8, 9 months?
Yeah.
Or 7 months perhaps. So like, yeah, that's what I would say. And then during that time, um, I've released a lot of stuff, and yeah, I think I'm gonna get into more detail about what I done during the year, but that's just like a quick summary, and I think that's like a good like prerequisite to what I have to say after about all the achievements and everything that I've done. But yeah, that was it wasn't quite short. It's quite a long summary of my 2021. But
Yeah.
yeah, Romano, why didn't you tell us about
Yeah.
your 2021?
I think both for both of us, I think 2021 is just like a year of learning and
Mm-hmm.
opportunity. I think yeah, similar to you. Like in 2020, it was just when I figured out Webflow and like learning how to do all this. Made carousels on Instagram, trying to grow Instagram and seeing if I could
Mm-hmm.
find clients there. A lot of mistakes for sure in 2020, but in 2021 it's more about trying to grow and honestly to make money out of it because I'm leaving uni and like the whole pressure was like, is this sustainable? And like my
Mm-hmm.
main goal for like 2021 was to make as much money as possible and more than 2020 at and that in because of the opportunity that happened, a lot of opportunity happened this year. I can't even explain
Mm-hmm.
how much work I've gotten this year and like amount of people I've spoken to, like absolute top of the legends have messaged me and like talked to me, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh damn, like last year I was just like watching their videos and like
Yeah,
fantasizing, and then this year they're all chatting and like I was like
yeah.
DMing these
We,
people
we we might even be interviewing these people soon, so it's
soon,
crazy,
yeah.
isn't it?
So it's
Yeah.
like in a summary, it's just a year of learning and opportunity, and then we can get into more details like how each month or like how it went.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think it was very similar, like what we've been through, like in terms of like at the
yeah,
beginning, it was the same. I just learning and again just getting to like realizing what you're doing wrong and then pivoting into the right direction. I would say like that's
yeah.
the best way of
And
putting it.
and
Like how the
actually
beginning of
around, I would
2021
say
went.
like around April, May was also when like proper projects start to come in
Mm-hmm.
after LinkedIn started. Like I started LinkedIn like November 2020, and it was
Mm-hmm.
absolutely cringe for me because I hated LinkedIn. I hated the concept
Yeah.
of LinkedIn. It's like, oh, it's just
Oh,
pretentious
okay.
people showing off. Yeah, why would anyone go on LinkedIn? But I think I tried this challenge where I try to post 30 days on LinkedIn just to see what happens. And it was pretty
Mm-hmm.
bad. Like I still have the post up, so cringy. It's like this memes and like it is a different platform, I felt, from like
Oh,
Instagram.
okay. Yeah,
But yeah, and then once you find what works, LinkedIn provides more than the other platforms, I feel.
definitely.
And
Yeah.
and that clicked around in like April, May as well. Like I had like
Mm-hmm.
two big projects in April, May, and then that kind of like kickstarted the whole year properly in that sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, even I didn't really realize like why linked well before I joined LinkedIn, my image of LinkedIn was just a lot of spam because every time I search on YouTube LinkedIn, it's like
Oh, it's
how to
just
use LinkedIn Sales Navigator and generate 1,000 leads in a minute. Like that's what
oh
I
no.
thought LinkedIn was.
For me, LinkedIn was like people just bragging about the uni.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I'm
yeah,
so
fair
glad
enough. Yeah,
to have graduated with the first class honors, and I'm so proud. I'm like, just shut up, nobody cares.
yeah. I see, I see. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's fair enough. There is quite a lot of people there, but my image was like, oh, I was just spam central. But
yeah,
when I got into it, it wasn't really. Obviously, I was quite small back then. I literally created a new account, so I started off from zero, and
right,
yeah,
yeah,
now I'm at, is it like 600 connections, I believe, like 700 something followers. Like I'm all in. Like I remember one mistake that I definitely made. Sorry, one mistake I made was I remember getting my first 100 connections. I used to accept everyone that came my way, like every single person, and then that really, really did mess up my target audience, like the people that see my content. And I wish I never done that. Like now, I probably got like 100 like connection requests, but I only accept the ones that I want to target, that I want to see my content. Um, so yeah, at the beginning, that's like one mistake I made, and again, it was that is when I started realizing, okay, I'm making this mistake. So I pivoted I kind of tweaked where I was going and all of the tasks I was doing and what I was focusing on.
yeah.
Um, so
So do you have any
yeah,
highlights to share? Like let's go like
um,
month by month.
yeah. I mean, okay, so April is definitely when I started LinkedIn, I believe. Like, if I'm not mistaken, I don't have like the exact data. But you know what? Let me actually share my screen and let me see my first ever LinkedIn post. Not all right, guys. So I can't really find my first ever LinkedIn post. I have to scroll all the way down. So in the meantime, while I'm finding it, Vermalin
Right.
can
Yeah.
show like how he, his 2021 in review.
Yeah, so there is the whole site that we have made for this one. It
Very
took
cool.
quite a
Yeah.
while. Yeah, it took a while besides the client work, but happy to finally share it. And I'll probably post it on like LinkedIn and Facebook later down the week. But yeah, this is the site. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so as you see, it is our first day in business. Yeah, as I said, it's a year of learning and opportunity. And the whole site is just to recap in timeline order, like what actually happened. So if you go down, it's rewind time, baby. I had to. Oh, Siri is so annoying. All right, cool. So let's
Okay.
start with Jan. Yeah, actually, the first project I got in January was like the 8th of January. And it was quite a relatively big back then. Like last year, it was like $800 for like one page, £800
Mm,
for like one page, which was like twice of what I usually charge for like five,
mm-hmm.
6 pages. So then I was like, oh shit, that's pretty good. And this was like the first organic lead in the sense that they came through Facebook, like one of the posts they saw and they liked it and they
Mm-hmm.
offered.
Oh, I
And
remember
there
you
was
used to like post on Facebook as well, right? Like the
yeah,
group.
yeah, yeah. And this was like one of the client
Yeah.
that was on the Facebook group and he reached out
I
to build
see.
like one page marketing site for like and I was like, oh shit, $800. Will he say no? If he says no, I'm gonna like counter offer him this. And he was like, oh yeah,
Mm,
800 pounds works. And I'm like, oh shit, that's a lot. And I was like,
yeah.
okay, let's go. And then by February, I already the problem with me because I was still in uni, right? Like final year. There's like 3 projects that I had to work on. And then it's just very, very annoying because I had to work on like uni and there's like 3 projects that I was working on simultaneously.
Mm,
So I was like that part was like still figuring out like how to balance both of it. Because previously it was just during summer, so I didn't have any uni work to
yeah.
do. So yeah, so it's like figuring out like how to balance most of it. And then
Yeah. That's literally
yeah,
like that's exactly what I'm going through right now. But we'll get
yeah,
into that. Yeah.
it takes a while, but once you get like a workflow, it's actually not
Mm-hmm.
too difficult. And as you say, yeah, April was like the month where LinkedIn started kicking as well. A
Mm,
startup reached out for like 2 projects with them. One was like using Weglot, and the other one was like a career page.
wow.
And that was like again the highest I've charged for like at that time. So then the whole year, and that was like a proper startup, like a proper big brand company that I can actually use
Mm-hmm.
for like sales and stuff. So it's pretty cool. Again, LinkedIn showed up. May was also LinkedIn, where someone reached out. They had like I think everyone has seen this site. It's Finder. It's like a
Oh
web app.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like a complete no-code web app built with like member stack, Airtable, Zapier, Parabola, and all of that. And
Mm-hmm.
again, that was like the highest I've charged at that time. So you could kind of see like how LinkedIn kind of helped the whole growth process. Yeah. So after May, between May, June, July, August, it was just like finishing up all these projects. Had like a couple of other works that I worked with like other agencies for. And then yeah, there's also moving house from like uni to like a new place. So there's pretty much not a lot had happened, but it's a lot of like admin work, and also had to like register for like a visa so I can stay in the UK after uni as well. And then in September, finally, uh, like instead of a sole trader, officially registered as like a limited company, mainly for like tax purposes and like payments and all of that. It's just much more lenient.
Yeah.
It's just more. It just made sense after speaking to like a lot of people. But yeah, so it's finally officially a boss, but it's just me and like one other person. And then in October, finally graduated like uni. It's like 4 years, man. And I was actually
Yeah.
all the 4 years I was actually just looking forward to like the graduation. And
Mm-hmm.
I was afraid like they were gonna cancel it because it's with COVID and stuff. But it
Mm-hmm.
happened. So that's good.
I
And then
remember.
in
I remember that day you graduated.
yeah,
It was meant to be
that
a
was one
talk
of the
floor
top floor.
episode.
Yeah, yeah. I was literally,
So
I was actually watching it while I was in the hall. I was like, just see
yeah,
what you're doing. It was, I think it was the live
it
build,
was the
right?
design. It was the dental website design one, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I
Yeah, so
remember
that was
Vimalin
the day.
said, yeah, he said he was like he's gonna be busy with his graduation. I said, yeah, no worries. So I had to do a solo talk floor episode, and that was the one where I redesigned the Figma. Sorry,
Yeah,
redesigned the dental website,
yeah.
and yeah, so yeah, it's right there.
That was that day.
That's
And
quite
then
cool.
right after the next day, I got like the Webflow expert thing. So it's like
Oh
double
yeah, I
graduation.
remember that. I remember. I remember.
Yeah, so October is
Yeah.
like quite a decent month in terms of like how much
Yeah.
happened.
I think
Yeah,
you
so
messaged me on Slack about it, right? I was,
yeah,
yeah,
right after like
it's
graduation,
crazy.
I got like an email, and I was like, "Oh, you're finally an expert." I'm like, "Oh
Double
yeah."
whammy, right? Yeah.
This felt more successful than the whole graduation thing.
Oh, the
But yeah,
first
after
part,
like
yeah.
1.5 years and like way over 60 projects, they finally accepted me
Mm.
as the expert. So that's good. And
Firstly,
then in
60
November,
projects is crazy. Like,
bro, there's a lot.
man,
I didn't even realize the 60
yeah.
projects until I started doing this. I
You
was like,
probably had no
damn.
breaks, right?
Nah, zero. I think I told you in
Mm.
like one of the past episodes. It's just I have not taken a break.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of showed a little bit in November because in November it
Mm.
was like the first 5-figure month. But the problem was that there's 6 projects, and I only had like another person to rely on. And it was absolutely a. I would say even though it was quite big in the monthly revenue, it was not worth it because I was absolutely working every single day, every weekend. It was not worth it, but as the
Yeah.
emoji says, yeah, it's just
The bread, right?
money,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah. And then in December, it's like what I had predicted for 2020 for 2021 was like 4 times what I've actually earned, which is
Wow. Okay.
way more. It's not even including my like my full time job or like other gigs I did. It's just what happened in 2021, sorry. And that's like 4 times what I made. So
Wow.
it's a good growth, but it's also quite scary in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
And also added like two new team members. One is both are like freelancers, so not full time, which
Mm-hmm.
is like a goal for 2022 is to have at least one
Yeah.
full time. But yeah, 35 projects that I could put on my portfolio, and
Oof.
then there's quite others that I couldn't put because NDAs and agency work
Yeah.
and all of
Mm-hmm.
that. But these are all pretty much done in 2021, and then yeah, it's just here's to like a bigger, better, brighter 2022. The whole site will be linked somewhere so that you can go.
Yeah. We're in the
There's a little
description.
yeah, and then there's like this little fortune section which pulls up like a random fortune from the CMS. So 2022 will be a fantastic year.
Yeah.
Caveat: there's one bad one in there. So far I haven't gotten it yet, and nobody has gotten it. So it should see if it works. And then there's
Yeah.
like a like button here. If you can like it, that would help massively.
Cool. That was, yeah. So unfortunately, I haven't been as organized as Vermaelen in this one. But yeah, there you have it, guys. Like that was Vermaelen's 2021. I actually like, bro, firstly, 35 projects in 12 months is nuts, bro. Like that is
Yeah,
crazy. Like I mean, I want to ask, how many projects did you have in 2020? Like
2020. not a
Like,
lot. I
for
would say
firstly, I
like,
want to okay, I want to ask, like, did you start? So, would you consider 2020, like from January to December? Would you consider that a year in business?
yeah, for me, yeah,
Okay,
yeah. I mean,
okay, cool.
technically, if you're looking at the company, it's from September to September because that's
Mm-hmm,
when I registered it. But I'm just
mm-hmm,
including all the projects that I did as like a freelancer and stuff like that. So like
mm-hmm.
January to December was at least 45 projects, 50 projects. But yeah.
Wait, I'm talking about 2020, right? 2020.
Oh no, 2020. I got only started like May-ish, around
Okay, I see.
May, June.
Mm,
Wasn't a lot of projects. I got like maybe like 3 or 4 in 2020, the whole of 2020,
mm,
like actual client
yeah,
projects. And then 2021 was like 40 that I can put on my website. And then there's like others that I didn't. There's like from
and our
job,
yeah,
yeah, and there's like
mm-hmm,
freelance, there's NDA jobs and white labeling jobs that I couldn't put on my portfolio. I total it
mm,
up is about 20, like 60 if you include everything together. But my
yeah,
website I just put like 35 that I built just as V designs this year.
yeah. That's crazy, bro. Like, I'm gonna get to into like, I'm gonna talk about my year as well, but I want to ask, like, how did you change? Because in 2020, right? You only had like what, through the three project, which is good, right? But in comparative to what you had in 2020, 35,
Yeah,
40 projects in a year,
yeah.
how did you? What do you think? Is it because you've done something different in 2021? I just want to ask you,
I
like,
think
how did you get to
yeah,
that point? Like, how did you get from three projects a year to 40
yeah.
projects a year?
I think it's a snowball effect. I think
Oh, I see.
and
Okay.
also putting myself out there. Like I told you I don't really post anything on LinkedIn. Before that, most of the leads I got was through people that I know in 2020 and from the very little that I shared on Facebook, I think. But in 2021, I would say most of it's from LinkedIn and Google, and a lot of it was also from the clonables that we put out. And it's also like a snowball effect. Like the clonables are there forever. Your post is there
Mm-hmm.
forever. People will see it. They come. They reach out. So I think putting yourself out there was is the main thing that you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and also like if you look at the work, it's pretty consistent, like pretty high quality work. I tend not to take on anything that's quite annoying, and I'm quite
Mm-hmm.
choosy in the work that I do. So I think that kind of helps as well. Like the portfolio, when they look at the portfolio, that kind of helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think also Google definitely helps a lot. And the thing is, I don't even do SEO, so I don't know why it
Yeah.
kind of ranks.
Yeah. That's crazy. Like,
And I don't
your
have like a
site,
blog or
yeah.
anything like that. Yeah, it's a very basic,
Mm.
it's like 4 page site, and it's like
And it's
ranking.
ranking very well on,
Yeah,
like, when you search for Webflow agency, like, you were like the top 3 or 4 results, which
top
is
three. Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, that's crazy, man. Like, I don't know how, but that's, yeah. I mean, yeah, big up to
Me
you,
too,
man.
honestly. It sounds
Yeah.
like a bad thing to say. Like I don't know what happened, but like
Yeah.
we should do like proper breakdown.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah,
But anyways, like, yeah, that is nuts. Like, even like, this is the first time you're hearing this as well. So, like, I mean, before the call we spoke a little bit, but now that you broke it down, it's just crazy.
yeah,
But again, it's just about growth, right? And we want to we don't want to come across as showing off or whatever.
yeah, yeah.
We
I mean, to
want
be
people
fair,
to, yeah.
with like 60 plus projects, I think I told you like I haven't really taken like a proper break. I don't really take holidays.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like a holiday person. I like to work. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot more you can do when you're just working every day and you like what you do, so
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah,
Like
exactly. Yeah.
you're not forced to do anything. So you
Yeah.
take on more than what normally people do like a full-time job.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and the point of us saying this, or of a malintended story, is not for you, you guys to,
Yeah.
get let down or whatever. Is
Yeah.
more of like, I think a lot of people might come across, might think, oh, but I'm not at that point where I'm getting 40 projects a year. This year I've only got 5 or 4 or 10. How do I
Yeah.
get
I
to
mean,
40?
it's
But
not
we
about the
want you
number
guys to, yeah,
actually. If I look back
exactly.
at it, most of the projects were very under paid. But I get it.
Mm,
Like, I had no experience and no portfolio to show. For me, at
mm,
that point, was like I just need as much projects I can get on to get experience, to get the skills to put it in my portfolio. And I think in
mm,
2022 it'd be more about, is this actually worth it? Like do I really need 60 projects to make the money I did? Can I just cut it down to like 30, maybe double
Yeah.
it, double the amount of money? So it's not about how many projects you do, but initially when you're growing, I think it's good to just take as many as you can.
Yeah, that's
Just
right. Yeah. So again, like even though you haven't had I'm just talking to the people watching, right? Even though you haven't had 40 projects or whatever, you maybe had 5, 10, 20. It's all
just do the
relative,
best.
right?
Yeah,
And yeah,
just make sure all the projects you do is on your portfolio. It's that
mm-hmm,
level. Because people do say like, oh, you shouldn't put all your work on your portfolio, you should put your best
mm,
work. If all your work is your best work, just put it up there. Like have
yeah,
40 on your portfolio side. Who cares? Like the more you
mm,
can show, the more it builds a lot more trust instead of just showing 3 good ones. That means all the others
mm,
you're just saying it's not as good as this 3.
mm,
For me, if you see the website, it's pretty much every single project that I've worked on is on my website, barring some that's NDA or like they just don't want to put it on my website, white label and all of that stuff. We don't show it anywhere.
mm.
But everything else on the website is like built in this. Most of it is built on this year.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and is I just want the people to realize, yeah, that you've been through the snowball effect, right? You've been through
Yeah,
it. Like, I mean, you're
and
still
you
going
will
through
still,
it, but
yeah,
you've already, like, you're probably 50% of the way there, right? Like, you
yeah,
started off last year at 3, now you have 40. Some
yeah,
people might be
and
watching me have 5 or 6 projects, but they don't realize that they haven't started to snowball. So it's all about
yeah,
just waiting for that snowball to come, and
just
for
keep
that to
doing
come
it.
is just,
Yeah,
yeah, just keep doing it. Be patient. Just do your best work. Over deliver, as we say, and eventually that snowball's going to start coming in. For me now, just to talk a little bit about my year, I don't personally think that I'm at that snowball where it's becoming crazy. I think I'm initially coming up to that snowball, but I think maybe in, obviously touch wood, in like 3, 4, so maybe 6 months, that's when I'm gonna start seeing, like, actually seeing the results pay off. Um, okay, so just to talk about my 2021, I don't have it like broken down like January every
oh
month and
yeah,
like
yeah,
like you had, but I'll
yeah,
definitely say, like, again, the beginning. I'm gonna repeat myself, but the beginning, it was just about learning and knowing what I'm doing wrong and then moving
yeah.
towards what I'm doing
But
right. So that was the beginning, right?
comparing it to like 2020, you probably had
Mhm.
more projects this year. You
Yeah,
probably had
definitely.
you
Yeah,
probably connected with more people this year. You had
yeah.
more opportunity
Mm-hmm.
this year, and you
Mm-hmm.
are technically in the snowball effect already. If
Mm-hmm.
your last year compared to this year is
Mm-hmm.
bigger, your next year compared to this year, if it is you were doing proper work, good work, it
Mm-hmm.
should keep growing.
Yeah, you're right.
So
Yeah.
it'll be fun to
Yeah,
see what next year this
yeah,
time what we're
that's
gonna see.
what I'm like. I think I want to talk about that at the end, because like I'm quite
Yeah,
excited about, like, to talk about. It's
the
quite exciting,
goals.
like, to
Yeah.
see,
Because
what the
I
next year
haven't
has.
properly taken a look back at 2020, but then I just
Mm,
looked at like the resolutions I had and I checked off all of it without even realizing that I was doing the resolutions that I set out last
mm-hmm,
like like beginning of this year. And
mm-hmm,
it's so now it's about setting up next year's goal. And
mm-hmm,
now you will have some sort of expectation. And that's a bit scary because coming from 2020,
mm-hmm.
2021, you had no expectation. Like looking back at 2020, there's literally nothing. Whereas now when you go to 2022, there's 2021 that you look at. It is scary because like, what if I don't make enough, or what if
Yeah,
I don't
mm,
hit the goal? But yeah, it's still good to set something just so that you have a
definitely.
reference
Yeah,
point. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, do you mind sharing, like, what your goals were for 2021?
For 2021, the first one is of
Mm.
course a graduate with like a 2-1.
Oh, I see. I see.
Yeah, 2-1 is
Yeah.
like a second class upper. So that's like
Mm,
Dean's List, that's like first class, and then there's like second class upper. I didn't want anything beyond that because I just didn't care. I just wanted to get out
mm,
with like a decent enough grade. That's like number
mm,
one. Second one was I think to get 20K in a year, like
mm.
totally. I probably, not to brag or whatever, it's at
Yeah.
least
Yeah. Of course.
four
Yeah.
times, 3 or 4 times of that
Yeah.
easily.
Wow.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
that's like my job. I like 2 jobs and like agency work. All of
Mm.
that combined is like at least
And again,
three
is
or
a
four
snowball
times.
effect, right? Like,
Yeah,
90% of what you made during that year probably came in the last 3, 4 months, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
that just
probably.
shows that the snowball effect, isn't
Literally,
it?
yeah.
Exactly.
Last
Yeah.
6 months is probably like
Yeah.
75% of what I
Like,
made.
it's not like you can say that 80K or whatever. Let's just say,
Yeah,
yeah, like the 80K was split
yeah.
out month by month
No,
evenly.
no, no, no. It's
A
pretty much
lot
like
of
an
it was in the
exponential.
last, like, yeah, a lot of it was in
Yeah.
Q4.
Up
Um,
until I think
yeah.
April or May, I was still at 10K. So
Mhm.
I was still at halfway point of like the goal I wanted to reach. But then
Mhm.
I completely forgot that I even had a goal. I was just working, I was
Mhm.
just doing the work. And I didn't even know the total amount until I checked and like added all of it together. I'm like, oh shit,
Yeah.
it's way more than, because all the money is like split here, split there, and you're paying people, you're paying for other things. You don't see like, oh, it's 80K or like 90K or whatever. I mean, it's not 80K or 90K. I think it's like three times. I think it's about 60K
Mhm.
is what it's combining like my job and like the agency and like the freelance work, and like the whole year is probably like 60K.
Wow.
But
Okay.
you don't see it in like a bank account like 60K,
Yeah.
because some of it is still like from employment, they don't pay you 1 year's worth. It's like monthly. Some of it is
Mhm.
like in a different account. Some of it was like a sole trader. So it goes to
Mhm.
like my personal account. Some of it is like a business account. It's all split. It's all over the place.
Mhm.
And also there's like expenses, right? Like living expenses, mortgage, rent,
Yeah. Yeah.
paying
Don't
for
get
your
me started.
laptop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
Tax.
not like, yeah,
Yeah.
tax. Yeah. So I
Tax.
definitely, yeah, paying tax is already like, I think my tax is like
Yeah.
almost at 5 figures at this point.
Tax. Oh my
It's
God.
yeah, so you're not
Tax,
getting all the money that you
that's a
need.
whole different video, man. Taxes is
Yeah,
just
it's
scary,
my
man.
favorite thing to
Scary
talk
to
about
say
now.
them.
Getting old.
Yes. Oh, tax.
Yeah,
Anyways, yeah. So
and
that was
then
your
the
goal, like,
last
what?
goal, yeah,
Yeah.
and then there's another goal was like I think
Yeah. Yeah.
to get one or two projects every month.
Okay.
That
And you
but
hit that, right?
yeah, that definitely at least I probably get one project every month, or at least leads,
Mm.
like at least two leads or three leads every month.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they close or not is a different thing, but those were like the three goals I listed out. But the funny thing is that I forgot that these were the goals.
Mm.
Like I just didn't want to work towards it. It's just I
It
think it's
just
in the
happened,
back of
right?
your mind.
By doing your
Yeah,
best work, and it just happened, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's yeah. I mean, for me, I didn't really set goals. I don't think my goal just to be honest, I didn't have any goals. My goal was just to like go into it blind and clueless. It's probably
yeah.
I'm not sure
I
if,
think that's
if I should
good
be.
actually.
I don't
Yeah,
know. I
because
don't know if that's a
less
good thing or a bad
expectation.
thing, but I just went into it blindly, just like you know what, I just enjoy doing this. I'm gonna just see how I
Yeah,
can get money from it, and
yeah,
that's I didn't
same.
really have no goals, but I think perhaps for 2022 I'm gonna try and set goals.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what I'm doing as well. Like
yeah,
consciously setting some goals. Whether you hit it or not is a different thing.
I think I'm like this
Do
year
you
I
have any
don't
goals for?
really.
Do
Yeah,
you have any
for
goals for
2022
2022?
I have some goals, but I want to talk about like what I've done in 2021. Like,
Oh, okay, okay.
so yeah, just to quickly go, I didn't really do much to be honest. Like, I mean, for myself, I don't think I'd done as much as I could have, which is again like everyone feels that way,
I
right?
mean, yeah,
Everyone is,
you had
you
uni
know,
as well, like half
yeah, I had
from
yeah. So I
September.
think a
Yeah,
lot of people don't know this, but I also
yeah,
had uni going on as well, which is a whole different
yeah,
story.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, like after April, when I started learning about what I need to do, that's when I started LinkedIn. So around April, I believe, is when I started LinkedIn. And then after that, again, there's a whole learning process of like 4 or 5 months where I learned what to post on LinkedIn. And I think that is like 2 months after
yeah.
that is when I started to post
Marketing, isn't it?
clonables. Yeah,
Yeah,
marketing. So like
marketing.
I would definitely
That's the
say
main
like
thing.
yeah, that and
Marketing.
marketing, that's now only now I believe that maybe the past 2 months max, only like the past 2 months is when I
Yeah,
started to realize, like, okay, I know what works in marketing, I know what doesn't. The whole time before that was figuring
you
out
just
what
yeah,
works, what doesn't, trying out different
yeah,
things.
yeah.
Um, and I would say, in terms of I think that is like the main thing that I learned. But in terms of projects, I haven't counted, which is so bad. I should have been more prepared for this video. But I would say probably in total, I would like to say, like, again, like Vimalin said, the agency work, NDAs, projects on my portfolio, all of that. I would probably say, I think 15 or 16 projects in total for the entire
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
But I don't really see that from January to December. I only see that from like
So like
maybe
yeah,
April to now. And
yeah,
again, I still got like 2, 3 projects in the works right now.
yeah,
But
yeah,
it's not the end of the year yet, so it might increase from 16. But I would
yeah,
say like around that time, sorry, I would say around that range of like 15, 16 projects. Um, which is compared to, I mean, this not might not sound crazy or anything, but if you compare it to 2020, in 2020, honest to God, I probably had like 2 projects, bro.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
because I don't count it as a year in business. I was very on and off with the business. It wasn't
Learning
really
as well.
my
Yeah,
thing. Yeah, it was
yeah,
just yeah, it was just like a fun project.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, compared to 2 to 16 projects is crazy. Um, so I mean, and how did that come about? Again, it's just like learning and figuring out how I should market and what kind of marketing works. And again, it all comes down to like it all comes down to the same concept where like all those 16 projects did not come equally. Probably like half of that all came in the last 3 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like the last
yeah,
three, four
same.
months. So it was very
Like from
exponential. Yeah.
yeah, like I think from October was like when it started to go a lot more than I thought. Like up until then it was
Hmm.
okay-ish, but then like October, November, December is like the peak. Like
Yeah,
again,
exactly.
yeah, as you
Yeah.
said, like
So
exponential,
yeah.
isn't it?
At the beginning it starts off slowly, but then
Yeah, yeah,
as it starts to rain, you can say it pours, right? Like it
yeah,
just started off little, and then when you get closer to it, like everything starts. So for example, let's say you're guaranteed 10 projects in for 2022,
yeah,
right? And then one project may come in January, the other one may come February, whatever. Then all 5 may come in December. So it's like
yeah.
exponential, right? And that's exactly what happened to me,
Well,
Von
what
Marlin, and that is just a
I have a
snowball effect
question.
going into play, right?
Yeah, I have a question. What was like the worst thing in 2021 for you?
The
I had to
worst,
have a
what?
top
Sorry,
one.
month.
Like the worst thing that happened. Like I think
Oh,
everyone
this
in the
is
year in reviews,
hard.
they just like talk about the good things.
The worst thing that ever happened by, I wouldn't say by far, but it was definitely bad, was when, this is like a whole story in itself. I should probably make like a separate video. But is when I think Vomali, yeah, you know this, is when a client of mine tried to sue me. Like that was
Yeah,
a nuts
yeah.
story, man. That's like, okay, so that was like a very like client horror story that I was experiencing around the
Could make a
summertime, I
video on
think.
that one. Yeah.
Yeah, we should make a video on like our client horror stories. But
Okay.
maybe like in 2022 Halloween we should do that maybe. But yeah, that was like a bad thing
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it was
He
my
was
first
so
time experiencing.
stressed.
I remember I was
I
super
haven't
stressed.
experienced it as well. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
and I was like talking to Vermalion about, and that's what I recommend everyone like have speak to people in the community, because I think like it's just so, when I was speaking to Vermalion about like the experience and stuff, it really did help. And
Yeah,
I feel
others
like
you
a
just
lot of people, yeah,
yeah,
it's
you're
just
just
about
panting it
like,
up. Yeah.
yeah, just like ranting to someone in the space that understands the thing. Like
Yeah.
it's just good
It's
for,
different. Yeah.
yeah, it really helps. Like, what I mean.
Yeah.
So I recommend everyone, like, if you're going through like a client horror story, if you're uh if you're finding, if you're finding
Found
trouble in
something
something, like
difficult. Yeah.
you're finding something
Yeah.
difficult in the industry, like whether
Kind of
that's
helps a
learning in
lot.
business
Yeah.
or whatever, it really does help to have like not even one person, like just a community like TalkFlow, the comments over here,
Yeah.
just to speak,
Quite.
and it really does help, because now, because you know that the person at the end understands what you're going through or whatever
Yeah.
you're experiencing, because
Yeah.
they're from the same industry. So
Yeah.
yeah, again, yeah, that really does help. But I digress. Yeah, that is one thing that, like, something bad happened. Yeah, how about yourself?
Yeah.
Like, anything?
For me, I think the most annoying one was I had this guy reach out through Facebook. Sounded like a
Mm,
good guy, sounded like a nice guy. It's like a startup. The vibe was a bit off, honestly. Like looking back, or even then, it was a bit off, but like
mm-hmm,
it was fine. He wanted to work on a project, gave him a proposal, gave him a quote, which was again was the highest at that point. And the amount of, again, it was too good. Like it was completely creative freedom. You can do whatever you want. He was open to ideas and all of that. And then that's the first time I hired someone from Fiverr to do some work,
mm,
like, and some asset work, and I had to pay the person, and that was quite expensive. Like I wanted to pay the person a lot more than what normally someone would pay them, so that they do good work. Which is what I normally do with people, anyways. Like I just don't pay them what others pay. I pay a little bit higher, because the budget was a bit higher than most other projects, and I had a lot of creativity. I just want to make it like the best portfolio work. And then he paid the deposit, everything good. All was going well. Finished, like the project was almost done, completely done. We're just waiting for like a little bit of feedback from that side, and then I had to transfer the site over and then get full payment and everything else. suddenly he just stopped replying. The thing is, I haven't sent over the site yet,
Oh.
right?
Mm,
I was just waiting for feedback, and then I was
mm,
just asking like, "Hey, is this all okay?" And he stopped replying. He no, it's not sorry. Reply started coming a bit later than usual. He's like, "Oh, I'm so busy." I'm like, "Okay, fair enough." But is there any feedback? And I was like, "Yeah, I'll get someone to send over some feedback to you." Okay. Then I waited. I texted the other person, no reply. Texted him back, no reply. And then I was like, "Ah, shit, is he ghosting me?" And then I was like,
mm,
"Okay, hey Moro, I think everything's ready. Please let me know when you're free." I was just trying to be like, finish, like, just make sure you
mm,
reply. But he just
mm.
completely doesn't even see it. Like, he didn't block me because I still
Okay.
could send him message. But then it's like, I just, he's just ignoring it. I was like, ah, damn it. And after like 3 weeks, I was like, half my money is gone anyways. I had to pay the other guy for the work that he did.
Mm.
And so I got the half, and pretty much
Oh,
half of it
okay.
went to the other guy. So I got like a quarter of the total budget.
Oh,
I was
that's
like
annoying.
proper
Yeah.
pissed. I was so pissed. I was like, should I just shame him on like Facebook or LinkedIn or something?
Yeah.
I
I
was
remember
like,
you created a post about it. Like you created a poll, right? I think that was
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
first
yeah,
post I
yeah,
saw by you as well. You
yeah. So
created
I
the
was
poll.
like, should I
Yeah.
like name
That
name
was the
drop
time when
him?
when I came into LinkedIn. I remember you posted
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
has a
Like
client
a
ever
post
ghosted you?
ghosted
Something like
you,
that.
yeah. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh, should I tag him and like out him? But I was like,
Mm,
nah. I mean, just screw it. It's gone. What am I gonna
yeah.
get out of it? I just
And
honestly,
he still hasn't replied back to you.
I just said F you to him. Like, I was like,
Oh,
just like saying F you, just to feel good. Well, yeah, he
oh,
didn't
okay, I
reply. He
see.
disappeared. Yeah, and the other one was also
Mm,
an agency. So, well, again, it's all I had to do is money. It's just first one. They started off
mm,
pretty well. They paid me what I asked for the work that I did. They paid me for like 5 pages, and it was like $500 or something like that, or $600 or something like that, which is good enough. It was very simple, quite cool. And then as the time went on, they were like, they asked me to design like 5 pages, and then the thing is, I designed pretty fast, isn't it? So I was like, after
mm,
one day, I showed them a concept, they liked it, and then I sent them an invoice. They're like, "Oh, aren't you charging me for just one day?" Which was the day that I actually designed. But before that, there's like, research and like trying to
mm,
get them to pay for like the animation and all of this. And they're like,
yeah,
"Oh, aren't you just working for one day?" I'm like, "Oh my god, just they're trying to like negotiate down." I was like, "No, no, no, I
yeah,
booked like this many days." They paid, and then the next time they were like, "Oh, next time can we just do one page instead?" I'm like, "If you do just one page, like a home page, that's pretty much most of the work, isn't it? Every other
mm,
page is just a copy paste of the home page and just tweaking it a
yeah,
little." Then they were like, "Oh, can you just do one page and then we'll do the rest?" I'm like, "Okay, you know what?
yeah,
Nah, just get out." I just stopped
yeah,
working for them. It's like they're trying to exploit me. And it was like a proper company as well, like a proper agency in the
mm,
UK. I was like, yeah, absolute douchebags.
yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy, man. I mean, this could be a video in itself. But yeah,
Yeah.
like 2021 has been a year of learning. I would say mostly
Just
experiences.
yeah.
Evidently client horror stories as well.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I think now is like good to talk about our plans for 2022. Like we did. I mean, I hope the audience got a gist of how our 2021s went. Um, but yeah, what I want to let's start off with Vermaelen, right? What is your plan for 2022? Because okay, just as a a prerequisite before you, start. Um, we're doing a lot of things, right? Like getting into 2022, we got in 2021, the only thing that you really had, and I'm talking about myself as well. The only thing I've really had, and I believe you've had as well, is just your Webflow business, like just
Yeah.
client work, right? And
Yeah.
not even marketing, right? And then
Not
2021
really.
include we and 2021, that is when we started to do marketing, and now we started
Yeah.
TalkFlow, and
Yeah.
then I'm personally gonna start my own YouTube channel as well soon. It's coming out
Yeah.
soon. And what else? And again, obviously, marketing as well. I think I already mentioned that. So we're starting the point is we're starting a
Yeah.
lot more like
It's growing. Yeah. Yeah.
avenues of our business,
Yeah.
all stemming from Webflow, right? So Webflow has
Yeah.
opened the doors of getting client work, creating content, becoming a content creator, teaching
Yeah.
people. So how do you see yourself? Um, you know, what do you see yourself doing in 2022? What are your goals? Because
Yeah.
it's going to be different, right? Because now you've got goals for your business, for the YouTube channel,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
everything, right? So
Yeah.
What are your plans for 2022 and
The
your
main
goal?
one I would say is I have a huge financial goal. I don't want to say it out, but
Mm,
I know I can't look at the number. I'm sure I won't make it, but it's like a very, very big financial goal that I want to touch. Why? I don't know. It's just like a nice number. I just want to touch it. And
yeah,
then that would then open up a lot more money to do other things. First of all, it's always money. It's like, I mean, it's business. Come on. Like, you can't fake, you don't like money or whatever. So
yeah,
first main goal
yeah.
is financial goals. It's a very big financial goal just to fund everything that I do, just so that I don't collapse and go bankrupt or whatever. Second one I would say is, I haven't thought about it actually, but I want to hire someone like full time
Okay, yeah, yeah,
to do something. I don't know what, because most of the time it's just me and like a few other freelancers working. I probably want to build a team so that we can take on like different projects, a bigger project, something different, not just stuck to the typical things that we do. Third one is probably get some sort of recognition, like or awards or like a Webflow award,
yeah.
be part of, like, not to say be part of no code conf or whatever. It's a bit that's like pushing it a lot higher than I want to, but like maybe like an all award nomination or something like that, like some sort of recognition they can put on the site.
Yeah.
That's like the three main ones. And then, as you said, yeah, 2022 will be like trying to see other things that we can do, because it is risky just to be like, oh, we're just going to do Webflow and just work on
Mm,
client work. The main
yeah.
one is, I think, TalkFlow. I think our goal is to like reach 1,000
Yeah.
subscribers for like this one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't know how, but we do
Yeah.
have plans for it. So maybe we can talk about it like some other time.
Yeah.
That's that.
We'll talk about it. Yeah. We got a
Yeah.
lot of great plans planned for
And
TalkFlow.
that's why I think the first main goal besides whatever I mentioned is, I think the talk flow episode, like the talk flow channel, like
Yeah.
I think we hit
Mm-hmm.
100. The next will be like to get 1,000, and then
Mm-hmm.
10,000, 100,000. But yeah, let's try for like 1,000. I think that's what we spoke, right? Like just to
Mm,
see whether we can do it. What
mm-hmm.
type of video you're gonna put, I have no idea. But based on that, we also spoke about starting like a course, like a Webflow course. Nothing
Yeah.
like what's already out there. It's a bit different. It's a bit more interactive. It's a bit more unique. But I don't know how many people have followed me like last year, like around May. But if you did, you know what the course was.
Yeah.
I kind of launched it
Yeah.
last year. I didn't really do anything with it. It just kind of faded out. I just lost
Mm,
interest. But I think, yeah, we might try to do that as well, just see
yeah.
if it
So
works. If
like,
it works,
yeah,
it's
is
good, isn't it?
yeah. I mean, we're gonna release the details soon on both
Yeah,
of our
we'll post.
LinkedIn's and like Facebook
Yeah,
and stuff, so you guys will
just
see
to
it.
see if there's
But
like a
is
market for it.
yeah, definitely. And
But
like,
it's a very
is gonna be
interesting
more
idea.
diff. Yeah, it's very. When I've heard it is I bought a lot of courses for Webflow and other like other
Yeah,
for other parts like studying and all of that stuff, right? But this is
this is
like
different, isn't it?
is a very different, not very different. It has the same concept of learning, but it has
Yeah,
a very different approach to teaching in a way.
especially in the Webflow
Um,
space. Like we haven't seen
exactly.
anyone do
Yeah,
it yet, so we
and
might.
it's kind of like this is probably. I mean, if it does work, it's definitely going to be. I mean, obviously, I don't want to be biased, right? I would say it's probably going to be like the best course for Webflow. I would say,
That's the
like
plan. Yeah,
that's the plan, right?
like that's
And
that's why
it's
I
not.
was so
Yeah,
conscious. Like when we talk about like we have to
mm,
properly do it if you're gonna do it,
yeah,
and not
yeah. And
just
we had like a one
haphazardly
hour
put
talk
something up.
before recording this about like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
course and stuff.
It's like
So
if
yeah,
we were to charge, like I would really want it to be like
yeah.
very worth it and like valuable, and not just be like a scam. Like the YouTube ads, like,
I
hey,
mean, yeah,
join our
I'll
course.
say like the concept alone. I mean, a lot of you guys that are hearing this might be a bit clueless about what we're talking about. We're going to release the details soon,
Yeah,
but the concept alone, I would say, even if we don't do like 100% our best job, let's even
I
if we
mean we
do maybe
won't,
fifty
especially in the
percent.
first. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
even if we
concept
do
alone
fifty
is
percent, it
unique.
was the
Yeah,
concept alone would be crazy. Like that,
yeah,
just doing it, like it doesn't matter at what level. Even though it's
yeah,
like beginners, like beginner level, it's not like expert production level. It's still going to be really, really good
yeah.
just because of the concept alone and
Yeah,
our
we
approach
should
to
definitely
teaching
try
the
it.
course.
Even just we must try it just to see if it
Yeah, we
works.
have to. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
say yeah, we have to. And we're
Worst
definitely going to
case,
be doing 2022.
we just
Yeah,
give a refund. Like, I mean, that's
yeah.
the
I mean,
policy that we want to do
I
anyways.
think yeah, we'll be more than happy to provide refunds for like
Yeah,
anyone that
that's
doesn't
like
like
the
it.
number one thing I told you.
Mm.
Like as soon as you start speaking, if they don't find it valuable, just refund it. Like they
Yeah.
don't want to take any money that they don't think is valuable.
Yeah. Cool.
So I
Anyways,
think
like we're
that's
gonna, yeah,
another
that's gonna
main.
be coming, yeah, soon. But that's definitely one of our goals, like collectively as a channel, like
Yeah,
TalkFlow and this
yeah,
collaboration.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I think you mentioned like a lot of good goals. Like I think it's good to have like a monetary goal, which is what you had. Um, obviously an undisclosed figure. But for me as well, is definitely a so just to talk about my goals, like definitely I do have a monetary goal of an undisclosed figure that I do want to hit this year.
yeah,
And to be honest, the goal, it's like I'm trying my best for it to be realistic, and the way I'm measuring it to be the way I'm making it realistic is by trying to follow the growth trajectory of
yeah,
2021.
yeah.
So like I'm trying to
I did the opposite.
like
Yeah,
yeah.
I
I was
I,
it
I
okay.
read it. I read it somewhere. They were like, I think was it 4 hour work week or something like that. It's like,
Mm,
what do you set realistic goals? Like goals are supposed to be dreams, isn't it? Why bring
yeah.
reality into it?
Yeah, but then
Just
yeah, that's why
I
like
that's why
yeah.
initially my
Uh,
financial goal was like
mm.
as low as I could, like realistic, like I
Just
probably
just
would beat that.
following the same growth as 2021,
Yeah,
right?
but then I was like, I
Mm.
read that, I was like, why not? Just shoot for extreme. Even if
Yeah.
you miss it,
Yeah.
you'll still reach somewhere closer to
Mm,
that number than what you
mhm.
initially wanted. So yeah, the goal is like, I probably won't make it. Like that's for sure. Like that's what I think. But
Yeah.
just having that and just trying to work towards it, who you
Yeah.
might break it or you might be just
Yeah,
shy of it.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, I definitely agree with
I
that.
get it.
And
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
get
and
it. A realistic goal is
my
just more
yeah.
easier
So
to
I
concept.
made like a realistic goal. So what I done right is I tried to come up with a number that was I
A
mean,
trend
based on the
line.
so
Yeah,
yeah, I followed the growth of 2021 and I just put that into 2022. I was
yeah,
thinking, okay, if my money or my revenue grows the same way it's grown for 2021 into 2022, what would that number be? And I
yeah,
got
yeah,
that
yeah,
number and I times it by two.
yeah.
So I got the number and I doubled it, and that is my goal. And to be honest, right now it seems like obviously like any other goal
It
seems a
has
bit
to seem
ridiculous.
impossible. Yeah.
But if a goal does not seem ridiculous to you, then you're probably doing something wrong.
I mean, if you're gonna
So
beat the goal, then what's the point of the goal?
exactly
Yeah.
right. So yeah, I mean, so I have a monetary goal, which it's a crazy number in my eyes. And secondly, definitely for this channel, I would say like I definitely have a goal of releasing a lot more high quality development content in terms of
Yeah.
Webflow. Like release content because to be honest, I don't know about you, Vamala, but I really, really enjoy teaching. Like I
I
like
know.
to
Yeah, you're a
speak on
lot more
camera.
into it than I am. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I
definitely. I
hate
feel
it.
like you're like the brains behind it, and I'm like just like
I
the
hate
person.
being in the camera.
Yeah, I really like I just really like teaching and learning and all of that
Yeah.
stuff. Like, yeah, but that's just me in it. So I really want to release more like Webflow content, like development videos. The third, I believe. So, and my third goal, I would say, would be. I mean, a lot of people don't really know this. I think I mentioned this in the beginning of the episode, but I'm actually a uni student at the same time. Which might be a shock to a lot of you. I mean, everyone already knows I'm 19. I hope you guys do know that. But I'm also a uni student. And one of my goals is to figure out a way where I can balance uni and business. I'm doing as much as I can, although I know that I could do more. I'm doing as much as I can in order to make sure that I do well in uni and also do well in the business. And right now it's going good. Like I'm not gonna lie, it is going good. Like the past
Yeah.
month, I started uni in September. The first few weeks were a bit,
Yeah.
I just figuring things out because it's been like 2 years since I've ever been to school, which is
Yeah.
a whole different story in itself. I had to take a gap year and then Corona and all that stuff. So it's been like 2 years since I didn't go to school, and just all of a sudden coming into that student life, it really didn't like mess with me. I was like, what the hell's going on? And it just took a few weeks for me to rekindle my brain and get back into the flow of being a student and figuring out how to balance uni and business. And that also made me, in a way, it forced me to come up with better solutions in the business, right? It forced me to come up with processes, and it made me come up with strategies where I put in less time, but it gives me the same outcome. Because right now, because I've started uni, right, I have less time. So I need to figure out,
You had to
okay, what am I
prioritize it.
doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I had to prioritize all of my tasks that I do, and I only focus on the things that work.
Yeah.
And I also made processes and automations in order for my time in business to be lower, because obviously uni's here now, but so spending less time in the business while maintaining the same outcome
Same
or
level
even
of
more.
yeah.
Yeah, so like making my business more efficient,
Balancing it.
in
Yeah.
short, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that really made me force that, starting uni, although it's a bad thing in terms of time, was also a good thing.
It's
Like,
also a
I
good
like to see
thing.
the
Yeah.
positive out. Yeah, it's also a good thing because
You
it
don't
made
have the
me,
pressure. Yeah.
right. Yeah, it forced me to kind of make my business more efficient. And to be
Yeah.
honest, it has started to become more efficient. Right now, I'm doing a lot less things than
It's
I
just the
used to
power.
do like
Yeah.
last year.
It's the
Yeah.
power of like saying no. Like, "Ah, I don't really
Yeah,
need it."
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Saying
Like
no.
a
And
project comes and it's like,
yeah.
"Ah, I don't want to do it." You can just like, nah, I don't want to do it.
Yeah,
Which
so
I
like
don't think
that's
a
one
lot
of
of
my
people can
goals.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my goals. Like, I don't know, like make and it goes for um I'm doing the same with uni. Like, I'm trying to make my uni process efficient as well at the same time. But I mean, yeah, that's one of my goals, like to make sure that I have a good balance to I will say like I'm 50% of the way there, but find like a good balance between uni and business. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is what I've seen, yeah. So just to reflect back on 2021, one thing that I've noticed is that I have a different purpose or drive, you can say, to do well in business. Because I'm so young, because I got uni, but by the way, for the people that don't know, I do dentistry, so I'm a dental student. But like I have a different driver, like I have a different driving force in business than other people. For example, for Marlon, right? You came out of uni, you don't need to worry about uni, but you do have the urgency kind of to do well in business, right? Like, you're out of uni, you
Yeah.
need to
Yeah.
look for a job, you have to pay rent, all of that stuff, right? For me, I don't, right? I don't have any of this pressures. I am not going to be out of uni in another 4 or 5 years. I'm not, in a hurry to find a job.
Yeah. It's a
I have
privilege.
literally no
Yeah.
pressures. I have no private driving force. It could be a
Yeah.
privilege in some people's
Definitely.
eyes, but at the
Yeah.
same time, it could not, because what is driving me now, right? You can say a person may look at me and be like, okay,
You can focus on
you
something
have,
else
yeah,
actually, not just money.
exactly
Yeah.
right. Like, yeah, I mean, you're doing good in uni. I mean, you got a good course going. You don't have to pay rent. You don't really have any expenses. Why are you doing this? Like, you're just putting that extra pressure on yourself for no
For
reason.
fun.
And
Yeah.
exactly right. And that's why I believe I have a different driving force. My driving
It
force
is. Yeah.
is literally because I enjoy it. Firstly, I
Yeah.
mean, I would say there's two, right? I would say there's three. So the first one is because I enjoy it. I have a passion for it. Like, literally yesterday, I was developing a website, right? And I was developing for 4 hours and I didn't even notice. Like, I had a timer for 4 hours and I think, Vermalion, you mentioned in the previous episode, when you go into that
Yeah.
flow
Yeah.
state,
Yeah.
right? And you don't even
Yeah.
notice time going past. So like
Yeah.
yesterday, I was developing for like 4 hours and I didn't even notice. And then my timer went off because I set the timer for 4 hours and it went off. And I was like, oh, what the hell? Like, that was quite quick. So it was like, and that kind of shows, right, that you have a passion for things, right? So I believe that's one of my driving forces. Secondly, is obviously money, right? I'm not gonna, lie and be like, oh, yeah, money doesn't matter. It's all for passion. Everyone has these like intrinsic values, like, oh, I want to help people, all of that stuff. But at the same time, everyone has the intrinsic value of making money, and it's not a bad thing, right? It's not something that people should look down upon, right? So number two is money. I want to make money, obviously. And thirdly, I would say it's just because I just want. I don't. This might sound a bit cheesy, but I would just want. So I just want to build something that is of success, and I want to say that it's mine, and I just enjoy that process of growth, like seeing something that I built from scratch, and then growing it, working on it, whatever, like treating it like a baby and watching it grow to the point where it's now. Like, even this past year, although I'm not, satisfied with my level of, where my business is at, just seeing it grow from absolutely nothing to where it is now, where it's making money and having a few clients and leads and getting some exposure. Just seeing that growth, I enjoy that process. So that's one of the things also is money, because I have a passion for it and because I like to see growth. And I feel like I'm still going to carry these values into 2022. Like, I still have a passion for it. So I'm just going to continue with this driving force. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah, man. I think it's pretty cool. We
Yeah.
covered quite a lot. So let's see. Actually, I'm really excited to see what happens in 2022. Like,
Yeah.
low-key,
Yeah.
kind of
Same here.
nervously excited. So let's see. Like
Yeah.
next year, who knows what we're gonna do in the review? Might
Who
not even
knows?
have
Who
one.
knows? We
But
might even be in
go
the
up
same
or it
room
could go
together
down.
doing a podcast. You never know.
Yeah,
Who knows?
who knows?
With the
Who
whole
knows?
setup and
One day,
everything. God knows. Yeah, who knows?
if I reach the financial milestone, why not? I can fund it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But yeah,
Cool,
guys,
man.
hope you guys enjoyed. Like again, we did talk about a lot of stuff. We did cover a lot of stuff. Again, if it wasn't that organized, we do apologize. But
I mean, it's a
I'm gonna
podcast,
try.
anyways.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a podcast. Everything's gonna be timestamped, so yeah, you can
Yeah,
feel free to skip to whatever you want to listen to. But yeah, guys, hope you guys enjoyed. Again, this was a bit different to what we normally do. That normally we kind of talk about Webflow and how to make money and the process of a
yeah,
Webflow business owner, but it's a bit different. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure that you leave a like. If you have any other suggestions for any other episodes, please leave a comment, and we can definitely reply and see what we can do. But yeah, guys, hope you guys enjoyed and have a good day. Bye bye.